Throughout the franchise's history, Sonic has been no stranger to controversial or outright hated stages. Ever since the very beginning, we've had some of these, the first main one being in the form of Labyrinth Zone, the name of which alone strikes fear in the heart of everyone facing unemployment. While most games have their fair share of controversial stages, there is one that seems to be near perfection: Sonic Generations. A fan favorite, and for good reason. It's probably one of the most consistently good Sonic games ever, with each stage being pretty beloved by most people. Green Hill, an amazing introductory stage that still retains depth despite its tutorial status. Chemical Plant and Sky Sanctuary, great follow-ups that get you acquainted with the rest of Sonic's moveset, as well as more of the skips and shortcuts you'll be taking that are synonymous with boost gameplay. So on and so forth. Sure, there is Crisis City, which is a little bit controversial, but even then most people seem to think it's pretty alright. Definitely not a bad stage, but then we get to the end, the very last stage in the game. Planet Wisp. Number 1. Planet Wisp? Really, Sonic Team? You could have used a better climactic stage like Asteroid Coaster or... Yeah, no, I actually don't care about the pick itself at all, I'm not gonna lie. We've lived with it for over a decade, I think we'll live. The stage itself, though, is another story. People do not like Planet Wisp for a plethora of reasons, and most of them make a lot of sense on the surface. However, you see the title of the video, you obviously know me, the contrarian that I am, have a problem with many criticisms of the stage, and I myself quite like it a lot. Now, I bet some of you are probably thinking, wait, Zach, a year ago you put Planet Wisp near the bottom of the list in your Sonic X Shadow Generations video, what's up with that? And to that I say, that was already over a year ago? Opinions change. I dug in my butt when I was 10, doesn't mean I do it now. There's one thing you should know about me and people in general, it's that people's opinions can change. Quite frequently, in fact. You know the Sonic mainline ranking video I made a month ago? Yeah, don't trust it. I'm sorry. This obviously means you should ask everyone monthly on each of their opinions on everything Sonic. Go harass Sam Procrastinates right now. Anyways, I digress. If you don't hate me after this, I urge you to like, comment, and subscribe, as that genuinely helps me out a ton. Also, I've got a Patreon link in the description where you can get early access to videos, a small little shout out at the start of videos, and more for as little as $2.50 a month. You can afford that, don't lie. Alright, let's get back to the topic. First off, in case you haven't gathered already, I'm talking about Act 2, the modern version. The classic version yeah, it sucks, I can't lie. So I'm talking strictly about the modern rendition of this stage. Now, I'm aware that everyone's problems stem with the second phase of the stage, the long stretch of 2D, but as this is a sort of pseudo-comprehensive overview of the entire stage, I need to talk about the first 3D bit, as despite the praise it gets, I actually think it deserves even more. This is probably one of the greatest stretches of any boost level, and I'm not being hyperbole. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to style this shit like an Ajax video, except if he was creatively bankrupt. Phase 1. Outside. Here comes time where I tell you about one of the greatest stretches of a 3D level in the entire series. We start off very simple with a very short run forward, followed by a homing chain upwards to your next destination. Now, while it seems simple, what if I told you there's two fun things about this small stretch you probably never knew? Number 1. Did you know that if you divert to the left at the very start and step on the brakes before you fall off, you can actually find the spring that takes you up past the homing chain? Pretty cool, right? Bet you never noticed. The thing is, though, despite being ridiculously hard to hit, it's not even faster than the normal homing chain, especially when you see number 2, this other skip. If you hold jump right before this big arch, you can just jump over it all. Yes, it's extremely fun. No, it's not hard. And yes, I do it every time. Now after this, the stage instantly opens up more. Planet Wisp is one of the more open stages of the game with the first stretch of 3D, but it doesn't really mean a lot, as most of the openness, in quotes, largely equates to straight lines, except you can strafe left to right if you want. However, this, on top of other ways this stage is laid out, makes it a stage that is very in tune with optimization heavy runs. To get a good run on this stage, you'll actually be doing a bit of decent optimizations and skips that aren't necessarily intended. Although it's hard to tell if they're actually intentional or not. One thing I've learned working on Daybreak as a level designer, go download it, link in the description, is that a lot of these seemingly unintentional shortcuts are usually intentional. When you play the stage as much as you do when designing it, you usually end up making something like that intentional. Or if it's not intentional per se, it's something that you're aware of. That's just my guess. But anyways, back to the unintentional shortcuts. This bit near the start, for example, you could carefully platform your way to the cannon, or, with the height you're given by the spring right before, air boost to the end and stomp so you land on it. That's risk and reward right there, and it's actually something this stage has a lot of, and actually makes it really fun. This is something the dreaded 2D section I'll be talking about soon enough has a lot of, only then you're actually punished a little bit for pussyfooting around and not taking risk, which is also very fun and an aspect I enjoy quite a lot. Now back to the 3D section. After that bit, you have this small bit up ahead Instead, that is another big risk and reward heavy section. It's very simple. One enemy, some falling platforms, and a single jump. You could take your time and guarantee making it to the other side, or pull off an air boost, hit a stomp before the jump if you aren't 100% confident, then do another air boost. This is one of the times where Sonic's tankier and more awkward approach to platforming actually works. His heaviness makes the section here work, and the shortcut isn't annoying either as it's not ridiculously hard to skip. Anyways, after this you're presented with another decently open area with a lot of ways to progress, but guess what? There's not a wall preventing you from getting over there, which means risk and reward once more. The section itself is decently designed, nothing too crazy, but the fun of it is navigating it in your own fucked up sort of way. And then we have, oh no, rails! Except, they're actually pretty good. It falls into most of the problems I have with rails, the ones that you can see in the video I made about my problem with modern rails, but these benefit heavily from the fact that these rails are very short and sweet and don't really intrude on anything, and because of that, it feels really nice. But after this, we are lodged into the 2D section that takes up the rest of the stage pretty much, but I'm splitting it up into 2 phases and you'll see why. Phase 2. This part is okay, but not amazing. Anyways, this is our shortest stretch and it's a very small section, so there isn't a lot to say about it. This jump and the start feel satisfying, and getting a good time to where these moving platforms line up with you is pretty amazing. Oh yeah, if you can't tell by now, I'm pretty much just covering the top path, but I will slightly touch on the lower paths later, but they are not really the focus. Now this one bit with homing attacking the buzz bombers feels a little weird, but whatever. And then cannon time. Very brief 3D section. If you just can't be bothered to do a small homing chain, climbing up these floating platforms will take a little longer, but otherwise just take it and get closer to the Rocket Wisp. And now we enter the final phase, and by far the longest. Phase 3. The thing. So now we get to the part that everyone cares about, and the part that everyone hates. And I'm pretty sure I know why. So first off, the easiest critique to address, it's all 2D. This is the part I understand the most, but I'm also going to defend it. Now trust me, I don't love modern Sonic in 2D. This is why I'm not a big fan of colors, because most of these stages don't accommodate that well for a 2D Sonic that controls like this. But the thing is, they also don't have incredible designs themselves. The difference here is that, well, despite still not controlling the greatest in a 2D environment, the level designers seem to accommodate way better here, making a 2D section that feels very natural for this Sonic. This section is designed way better than most of the 2D sections in colors, I believe, with way more going on. And now we have another critique, which is, this section is a huge shift from what came before. They led up to this with one of the best stretches of a Sonic level, only to go from fast, breakneck, flow state pace to slow 2D platformer. And you're right, actually. This is true, completely true. Sure, you're slightly eased into it with the small section right before it, but even then it's a very short section and still retains some of that speed. However, this doesn't mean it's bad. First off, this may be reaching a bit, but I believe there is a strong thematic reason for this shift in the approach to the level. Before this, Sonic was in his element. He was traversing nature. Out of nowhere, seemingly, he's thrusted into this large mechanical base that's primary function is to destroy the nature Sonic was running on prior. Because of this, well, I don't think the intention was to make the rest of the level bad per se, which I do not believe it is, but I think they wanted it to feel strange, unfamiliar. The irony of this place feeling more alien than the place outside that houses alien life. The biggest problem seems to occur within the players themselves, as they do not seem to recognize this. They do not try to adapt to what the stage has become. They do not try to take things slower, none of that. And they do this with every playthrough. They try to rush through it, boost carelessly, and because of that often run into hazards and bottom paths. The stage at this point becomes focused on methodical platforming. Notice my wording there, methodical. I didn't say slow. That's very intentional, because this stage doesn't have to be slow. When you get better at the stage, you will find yourself having a different kind of flow state. It's not the one that you find yourself in with most other Sonic levels. You will not be breaking the sound barrier here. However, I can't stress enough, that is not a bad thing. This kind of flow state in Sonic can feel as, if not more rewarding than a normal flow state. In this type of level, more is being asked of you, and you are asked to be more careful and precise, and if you are able to do both, then you can go fast, but you still need to be precise, or else you will get hit. You will fall to the bottom path. However, like I said before, people don't try to adapt. They boost at every possible moment. They don't take a second to analyze the patterns of certain hazards. One thing I noticed is that people panic a lot, and this results in them getting fucked. In Planet Wisp, that's the last thing you need to do, as it can be very easy to mess up and just fall down to the bottom path. It is genuinely okay to take a second and just stop and analyze. Some people may say, yeah, you lost me, you want us to stop? Yeah. Absolutely. It's a Sonic game. You're going to be replaying these levels for hours on end. It's not like taking 1 second to stop and then trying another run later will kill you. If you aren't ready to take it on head first, just go to the bottom path. It's very unlikely you'll stay on the top path for any of these levels for prolonged amounts of time on your first run. It's okay to mess up. Now, what about the actual platforming? I've just been defending the type of platforming it is and not the platforming itself. Well, for me, I like it. I just want to make it clear that Planet Wisp is not my favorite stage in Gens. It's still one of my least favorites, but I still really like it. My goal here is not to make you think Planet Wisp is the greatest stage of all time, it's to make you not unjustly hate it. The biggest drawback of the platforming here is that it can be a bit samey. There isn't really anything crazy here, but you know what? That's fine. The focus here is on precision platforming, and while things may be slightly repetitive, they're, in my opinion, always fun to do if they aren't a walk in the park a majority of times. Despite its heightened difficulty, the stage itself is very forgiving. Once you reach a certain point, there are next to no bottomless pits, only bottom paths you need to get up. Oh wait, I forgot about the fucking rocket. Phase 4. I don't know. The rocket part is inoffensive. I don't know why people hate it so much. It's not great, but like, you people are really impatient. People hate charging up the rocket because, yeah, it's slow and boring. But did you know you can just click it once? It's kind of lying to you. It tells you to charge, but you don't actually have to hold it. You'll just go up a bit slower, which doesn't really matter because the difference in time doesn't really mean anything. Also, the last bit is cool. Tough-ass camera angle. I fuck with it heavy. Now, I know this is a bit of an abrupt end, but thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my ramblings defending a stage everyone hates. Yeah, this will go very well in the comments. This video was supposed to be a short filler video, but now it's a full one, so fuck. Not much else to say, though. Like, comment, subscribe, become a patron if you want to go the extra mile, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.